everybody, welcome to this edition of Dirt Talk with York, and I've got Tommy Hunt with me today. It's good to have you.
Good to be here. Glad you came by.
And this guy has all the die casts right now. You may not know this about me, but I am a die cast geek, so I couldn't help to resist but to look at all the die casts they have here at Hunt's Race World. Today's show will be presented by Roberto Marquez, attorney at law, Pappenhausen Automotive, Smith Racing, Peterson's Motorsports. So first off, I know your family has been involved in racing for quite some time. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Actually, I'm second generation, and my son Tony is third generation. My dad ran Indianapolis cars for years, never drove, but owned race cars. And of course, I started my career in 1968 in a sprint car. And then my son Tony, as you know, took over from me, and of course he's a several-time USAC champion.
Racing was not as safe as it is today. Did you have to convince your parents to let you drive?
My parents were very, very, very opposed to me driving. As a matter of fact, I was 21 years old when I drove the first race car because I couldn't get permission to do it.
Ascot Raceway Park, one of the most famous tracks ever in the history of sprint car racing, now unfortunately gone. You had an opportunity to race there. What was it like to race on such a historic track?
Well, it was a great opportunity, and I'm blessed that I got to run there because it was an incredible racetrack, a one-of-a-kind racetrack. You virtually turned the car sideways almost at the start-finish line in order to make the corner. So it was a great place, and I'm sure anybody that's seen it, whether it's a fan or a participant, will always remember it.
What was your favorite event when you raced?
When I raced, my favorite event, I would say probably the Pacific Coast Open, which was at Ascot, and the Western World, which was at Manzanita.
What's your favorite event now? I'm sure it's one that you promote.
Well, it wouldn't necessarily have to be one that I promote, but the truth of the matter is the Louis Vermeil Classic is my favorite event.
Were you racing when you met your wife, Jeannie?
No. That would be no.
We're seeing a lot of drivers now step out of the cockpit. What was the reason for you to step out? Was it too much money, or was it just getting too hard to drive the car?
No, in 1978, the opening race of the year at El Centro, which is a big half-mile racetrack near the border, I got in a very, very bad accident, and it affected my eyes, which unfortunately has continued to compromise my vision. And although I raced some after that, there wasn't much of a decision to be made.
Well, after you stepped out of the cockpit, you got into officiating. How did you start in officiating, or how did you get into it?
Well, I had a very good friend and somebody that I'd known for a long time named Roger McCluskey, and he was the executive vice president of the United States Auto Club. And there became a need in 1986 for somebody to run their Western operations, and I ended up taking that post and did it for 26 years.
And then after officiating, you started promoting what you do now. How did you get into that, and what do you like about promoting?
Well, obviously it keeps me in the game, and that's important to me. I'm very passionate about Calistoga Speedway and racing in general. And actually, and probably few people remember this, but my promotion of races started very early, about 1990, because we did the mile for 2 years at Sacramento with the Silver Crown cars, and then we did a couple of indoor shows at Arco Arena as well.
Well, tell us the races you promote every year. How many races do you promote, and what kinds of races do you promote?
I promote 2 races, one in June 25th, which is the Wine Country Classic, which is a King of the West race, and normally has the Hunt Magneto series with it. And then we do the Louis Vermeil Classic, which is on Labor Day weekend. The other races that are at Calistoga are rentals, like the World of Outlaws show, which is coming up soon.
Well, as you mentioned, the Louis Vermeil Classic, one of our recent guests, Andy Forsberg, he said that's one of his favorite events. I'm sure it is for the adults. The kids get nothing out of this. So can we make it like a soda tasting for the kids?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I never thought of that, but excellent idea. Excellent idea.
Which event takes the most preparation?
Oh, the Vermeil is very it's very sensitive to a lot of work. Let's put it that way.
What are your plans for the future at Calistoga Speedway?
I have some interest in doing a Silver Crown race there, actually. And I probably would like to develop an additional sprint car race over there as well.
Well, what do you do away from racing outside of it?
What do I do outside of racing? Unfortunately, that's going to be a good question. I do have 2 grandchildren, which I dearly love and we have a lot of fun with. And we spend some time with them. And other than that, you know, between Jeannie's business, which you're familiar with, and trying to take care of this promotion business, it takes up a lot of time.
What do you sell here at Hunt's Race World? I saw some die-cast out there. And what else do you sell here at Hunt's Race World?
T-shirts, hats, die-cast cars, memorabilia of all sorts, driver licensed items, mostly NASCAR stuff.
Also, you talked about that the safety gear you sell here. Is it a good feeling knowing that somebody that bought safety gear here at Hunt's Race World is safe when they're driving the race car?
Absolutely, and Jeannie, who does most of that work, is very educated on that and does a great job. And I have to say that the safety situation has changed so dramatically, and I thank the good Lord so much for doing that, because there was a time when the sport was pretty dangerous, and of course now it's not nearly as dangerous.
This week, the World of Outlaws are going to be at Calistoga Speedway. Can you give the fans some information about that race?
Well, I can tell you that there are 14 outlaw teams that are here that are going to participate, including Donnie Schatz, who is your past points champion, and the rest of the field, which includes some local people like Paul McMahon. And Kyle Larson will be there on Sunday. Obviously, Rico Abreu, Bud Kading. So we're looking forward to a great race.
Is there going to be a Grand Marshal by any chance?
There is going to be a Grand Marshal, which I just found out a couple days ago, and that Grand Marshal is going to be me, which I'm wondering why they would have chosen me, but the bottom line is that's who's going to do it. So I'm very proud of that and excited about that.
Well, that's going to wrap up our show today. Today's show is presented by Tommy Herseth's Vintage Race Cars, Kevin Scherer Designs, Shad Trucking, and Kimball Midwest. Thank you, guys, and tune in next time.